Hello and welcome to the EduTalk series hosted by Biotone, Biotone EduPartner Program, and massage industry experts. With the challenges continuing to face massage schools, students, and practicing therapists, the EduTalk series by Biotone continues to support virtual learning and building massage community by connecting you with industry experts who share their knowledge and expertise on topics not only for class discussion, but career success. Tonight's experts are Heath and Nicole Reed, co-founders of Living Meta, an approved NCB TMB continuing education company that unearths the practical tools of healing through the lens of yoga therapy, medical qigong, hands-on bodywork, and other somatic sciences. They are article contributors to Massage Magazine and Massage and Bodywork Magazine, authors of Table Thai Yoga Massage, and publishers of numerous educational videos and blogs, as well as familiar faces at industry trade shows. Once those come back, be sure to look for them. Let's listen and learn as Heath and Nicole discuss their effective medley of Thai, yoga, massage. They'll review ancient techniques integrated for modern healing and share how these Thai-inspired approaches, including Thai wooden sticks and Thai herbal compresses, allow you to work smarter and not harder. Additionally, they'll demonstrate health positive stretches to benefit your clients and yourself. Again, thank you for joining us tonight, our first EduTalk of 2022. And please feel free to chat your questions to Heath and Nicole during the presentation. We will make this an open interactive session at the end once they finish their presentation. With that, thank you for joining us, Heath and Nicole, and I turn it over to you.
Thank you, Donnell.
Donnell, so great to be here, and thank you, Biotone, for putting this together and including us on your first 2022 EduTalk. This is a really great honor.
I feel really blessed and humbled to share some of the ways that we've been inspired from our teachers in Thailand and all around the world. And we hope to give you some insight into different modes and approaches of healing from a Thai perspective.
Yes, and the Thai perspective has been a big part of our lives for a long time now.
Yeah, more than 20 years ago, we had our honeymoon in Thailand and learned, it was our first opportunity to learn Thai massage. And we go back there when there's not pandemics about every year.
And we're hopeful to go back in 2020, this year, this October, November. We're hoping to go back to Thailand and actually take some groups, take some people. So if you're interested in traveling to Thailand, experiencing Thai massage firsthand, you may want to consider taking a retreat, an educational retreat with us. But let's get into some of the
let's talk about this
little Thai massage medley that we're going to be sharing with you today.
All right, great. And you'll hear sometimes our Living Meta mascot Jake will speak up from time to time, and he's doing his important guard work. But so we just want to introduce you to different ideas and concepts.
And these 30 minutes is going to go by fast.
Yes, so put your hats on. And my plan is to have a really good time.
Yes, and at the beginning of every session, at the beginning of or just saying hello when you walk into a restaurant or you go to a hotel or anywhere that you go in Thailand, the universal greeting is bringing the hands together at the heart, and you say Sawadi, and the ladies say Sawadi Ka.
And the gentleman say Sawadee-ka.
And this is, the translation is, may the Buddha bless you, or just a way that everybody says hello.
Yeah, and not just in religious like temple settings, but as Nicole said, on the road, in the restaurant, from your tuk-tuk driver.
Yeah, it's McDonald's is not, hanging out there waiting for you to take a picture with them on the bench, but rather
He's in the
He's in the
why.
why.
And one of the whys, the WH whys of what we're up to is all about embodying loving kindness. We were introduced to this, though we're not Buddhists, practicing Buddhists
And you
ourselves.
don't have to be a practicing Buddhist in order to practice traditional Thai massage.
We were introduced to the concept of metta in our Thai massage training, and metta is loving kindness. So it's the idea of making sure every technique feels good to give.
And every technique feels good to receive.
That's loving kindness in action.
Yeah. So we encourage you in all your sessions, whether you're practicing Thai massage, whatever modality, deep tissue, reflexology, whatever it is that you're up to in your sessions, that everything feels good to give and everything feels good to receive.
The main tenet, or one of the primary theories behind Thai medicine, is to open up the Thai meridians, or what they call the Thai Sen, S-E-N.
These energy lines are circular, is like a circulatory system for chi, or the Thai word for energy, lom.
L-O-M. And if you're familiar with the myofascial meridians, you'll be interested that the Thai system is the only one that we're familiar with that actually shows the spiral line moving contralateral from opposite foot to opposite arm. And I think that's incredibly fascinating from the perspective of several century, if not millennial old practice.
There are 10 main sen or sip sen that we work with in traditional Thai massage. And one thing that I really love about it is that one of the Thai medical theories is that all the energy coalesces, all the lom coalesces, gathers at the center, at the belly, and then circulates out across our bodies, through our tissue, our muscles, our organs, our nerves, and out our spaces. And those spaces include your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, your elimination organs, even your skin pores, and goes out. The chi, the lom goes out into nature, commingles with nature, and then we invite nature back in. We invite nature back in through those spaces, through what we see, what we breathe, what we feel and touch and taste and hear. It all regathers back at the center, at the core. So you'll see us use techniques that are constantly, so the energy lines themselves move bidirectionally. So you'll see us move across the body, palpating or compressing away from the center and back towards the center.
Yeah, and the primary purpose of Thai massage is to either directly press these sen lines, these Thai meridians, or to indirectly stretch them. So we're going to share that in just a couple minutes. And one of the big ideas is having your intention and attention on line. We know that what we focus on grows. Where your chi goes, where your mind goes, the chi flows.
Yes, there it is.
And so we want to be intentional about what are we giving attention to.
And also, I think a cool point is that the chi knows what to do. You don't have to push the energy. You don't have to push the lom into any particular part of the body. You don't have to guide it or force it or move it in any particular way. You don't have to direct it, but rather trust that your intelligent body knows where the energy needs to go.
So you'll see this isn't traditional Thai massage, which is done on the floor, on a mat. We've elevated it onto the table to make it more approachable for a lot of Western body workers or clientele. And then you'll also see we're longtime practitioners of yoga. We teach yoga therapy and medical qigong, other somatic sciences. And what we point out oftentimes is ergonomics that we borrow from these complementary somatic sciences. So you'll see something that creates all kinds of benefits from stretching. Here's a few of the scientific benefits associated with stretching. And the way you get there is a little same, but different. There's not one single way to do anything. And this is the idea that you hear a lot in Thailand when you're asking for clarity. Well, what's the difference on the menu between a fruit shake, a fruit smoothie? Same, but different. Our approach to Thai massage, table Thai yoga massage, a little same, but different. So we want to acknowledge we're not practicing traditional Thai, but we are inspired by the rich history and lineage of our Thai massage masters, ajahns, teachers.
Yes, we can honor tradition without being traditional. And I feel like what we have created here is a really great modality for lots of body types. But you want to keep a couple of things in mind. You want to go slowly, You want to move rhythmically and you want to stretch progressively so that we're not going to the biggest, furthest, deepest part of the stretch at the very beginning, but we get there slowly, incrementally. And you'll see us do that at the table in just a few moments.
You'll also see us busting out our thumb saver, and with practice you can actually learn to work with the feet. That's the primary location where we use this powerful stick to help open up the fascia, to help release acupressure or therapy points, and you'll get a little taste of that momentarily. Here's a few of the benefits of using the wooden stick.
Like an extension of your hand.
Yeah, like a replacement for your thumb. And like I say, with practice, your clients won't even be aware that you're not using the fleshy edges of your tissue and fascia, but actually this very helpful ally.
Which does save your hand from overuse, especially those thumbs.
What do you think? You want to get on the table now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
We're going to get right into it.
If you want to join us and you have the table handy, go for it. I'm going to back up our camera. Nicole, would you go on the table first? I'll show a couple Thai massage stretches, table Thai yoga massage stretches. We'll then move into a few Thai foot reflexology opportunities. And maybe we'll have a little time to show you what you might do with the herbal compress, a little poultice of multiple herbs. So face up, please. Mind if I place this under your knees? Perfect. And if you have difficulty seeing or hearing me, I will ask you to unmute so that I know that. I won't really see the chats from this angle. One thing we like to say is that your presence is more important than your technique. So we always take a moment to ground, to center, to show up in the here and now. The point of power is always in the present moment. So maybe take a nice, deep, generous breath with me. Let go of the day, let go of the week, the months ahead and behind now, and be here now as we, with loving kindness, with metta, approach and support the knee, the ankle. I'm going to open up into a tree pose. And what I could do is begin to alternate palm press the inside of the legs. And notice as I do this, I want to use my legs to move. I want to avoid rounding thoracic out. I don't want to have ventral drag in my body. I want to, if my hands are moving, I want my legs to move. So one of the key concepts is this rhythmic alternating movement. I could even bring the leg into my side of my ribs, my hip, support here. Nicole's rather flexible. Maybe I need to move this arm out of the way. Take a breath in. As she exhales, I'm going to stretch her knee over toward her armpit. Yeah. Breathe in, I back off. And this is more of like a yoga adaptation. As she exhales, I'm going to sink in. Yeah. One more like that. So just showing you a few different ways to approach. We also show how to do what's called fearless draping. So how you might do this if your client was disrobed. Another approach, let me change the camera angle because it might be easier for you all to see, but maybe we could take a seat on the job. I'm going to place her foot and support it on my shoulder. I'm going to do what's called rolling pin, starting in supination and, pronation and moving into supination with the fleshy part of my forearm. So near my epicondyles, right, near my elbow, not on my elbow, about 2-3 inches off on that ulnar blade. I am doing this rolling pin as I'm adding a little mobilization. So there's not a whole lot of effort on my part. I'm sitting down on the job, which I highly recommend. I'm pushing my foot into the floor. But what I could also do is take a deep breath, Nicole. I can add pressure and stretch. I could do that from the seated position. Inhale. I could support the greater trochanter. Exhale. Could do all kinds of variations. Maybe I want to do a flamingo stance. One tuberosity up and one foot down like a little flamingo. Maybe my client's really tall and I'm really short. So maybe I want to take a variation where I'm at the head of the table. Inhale and exhale, and I can stretch. You don't have to get that knee straight to get a hamstring stretch. You can get a lot of sensation back there in that posterior line. So there's a few different approaches for mobilizing, for stretching. I want to also give you a couple ideas of how you might use this, and I'm going to move the camera here. And please take a look at what we can do for the feet. So this Thai stick can be used in a multitude of ways. Maybe you want to use it like a pencil. Maybe it's magical and you've got your wand or you're conducting. Maybe you got a little psycho. But the key to working with the stick is to keep your hand soft, however you're holding. You don't want to white knuckle it, because every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And if I'm tight and hard with my hand and my tool, it's going to feel tight and hard for my client, and I don't want it to feel like that. Traditional Thai foot reflexology, there's usually a foot bath kind of ritual or cleaning, at least a general cleaning, but I'm going to skip that in favor of just showing you a few ways to work with the stick. And one way is like gua sha. Some of you are familiar with the traditional Chinese method of gua sha. So I'm just have the stick here in my palm, or you could hold it here. And I'm just gently stimulating the areas along the outside of the feet or in between the toes. I could do that for the opposite sole of the foot. And I'm just holding it up so you can see a little. If they're very ticklish, you would go slower, firmer, and smaller locations, because this is very, very sensational. It's a very sensory rich experience. You can also explore with the stick. You've got a short or a narrow area and a thicker area. And you might also notice that there's little rivets. And that's what helps create a little more friction, either with this gua sha side to side or up and down. So that'll stimulate the tissue, the fascia. And you can also glide and slide. Usually we use some kind of medium, like a thick foot cream. That's what our Western adaptation of this is. Maybe you add the stick with a glide slide as you mobilize. Ooh, hello, pinky toe. So for broader areas, for more distributed force, you'd use the thicker edge of the stick. For more precise, pinpointed, maybe use the sharper edge. And as the word edge suggests, that's going to be a lot more edgy. I could even stretch multiple feet as I glide slide, or maybe I find Thai therapy points. One technique for Thai therapy points, kind of a Eastern adaptation or version rather of trigger point therapy, which Janet Travell, 3 to 30 seconds, hold on an area with ischemic pressure. Thais do their version a little different. They find an adhesion. With practice, you'll actually feel adhesions through the stick, and you can add that pressure for 10 seconds light. And then if I want more pressure, I don't have to dig in deeper. I just sharpen the angle for 10 seconds medium. And then I sharpen the angle for 10 seconds deep. And I could do that with the the thick broad edge, or more intensity, the sharp edge. So there's plenty of variations we can use with the Thai stick. But we also want to bring up Thai herbal compresses. So Nicole, do you want to switch with me? In fact, why don't we stand up, and I want to show a slide or two of the herbal compress.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
So we can be a little familiarized with it before we begin to use it. And let me drop in another slide here.
Yeah, and maybe you're familiar with the herbal compress, but it's a Look Pragab. Pragab is the Thai expression of herbal compress, Look Pragab, and it's packed. These little muslin cloths are packed with usually traditional herbs and spices like kaffir lime, galangal, camphor, even rice is in there to help retain the heat. And usually you'll soak the ball for a good 5-10 minutes so that it's wet all the way through, and then steam it so that it's piping hot. It's nice and hot when you apply it to the body.
And a lot of times you will be disrobed for this kind of version, or you'll wear like medical scrubs so that they can first work either over a sheet so that hot pressure doesn't burn the flesh, or over the surgical gown, or maybe even
what we use is oftentimes we'll put a cloth in between the body, like a washcloth in between the body and the compress, until the compress itself begins to cool. So you use several at the same time. So you have one in the heater going all the time so that you can trace and work the energy line. So usually, traditionally, it's incorporated using the traditional Look Pragab, the herbal compress, introduced in the middle of a traditional Thai massage. So we're kind of going from stretching to compressing with the herbal compress.
Yeah, maybe a 2-hour session, you get a 90 minutes of Thai stretching and Zen work, and then end with maybe a half hour of herbal compress.
Yeah, and we'd still be tracing the lines, tracing the energy lines, the sen around the body to help free the lung so that we can relieve the body of any aches, any pains, any tensions. Depending on the herbs you use in here, this can help boost our immune system, but it will, because of the heat, will definitely begin to increase the circulation. So what that might look like on the table.
Shall we see?
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
check it out.
I'm
I
gonna
think we got
stop
a
the
few
screen share.
more minutes to play a little bit here.
Can
So
you
can you
soak
find
the
out
compress, then put a moist towel warmer to keep it out? Yeah,
Exactly. Yes.
that's
and
the right
that's
idea.
exactly what we're saying. Yes.
I'm gonna lay down. Let me make sure Nicole's got the lighting and the space she would like. How's
So
that
I
look
usually
for
have
you?
a steamer going with the whole time for the herbal compress so that it's nice and hot. And then I'll pack in the herbs. And if it's real hot, I'll use an extra
Hand towel
hand
or
towel or
washcloth.
washcloth to hold it. And usually it is pretty hot. So you want to make sure it's long enough so that you can also hold the compress together and not burn yourself. So he will get on the table and I'll just
Happily.
Yeah, there we go. So I think we're in a good position. So working the energy lines with the herbal compress. So the 10 sen. What's great about learning about the 10 sen is that you don't have to memorize the direction in which they flow, which I know we had to learn when studying traditional Chinese medicine, like the heart line. You never want to trace the heart line backwards. In this, you don't have to worry about it. You just want to make sure to go in both directions, working the sen to help free the energy, free the lung. And I'm just going to bring the body into a nice position. So a figure 4. So I'm just going to float up the foot, support the inner knee, draw that knee out and drop the foot towards the table. Support that foot with a nice little bolster. And then we got a free leg here. So I can either use that rolling pin form, working up into the glutes. I can also use my lotus palm hands to work that IT band, rocking in, rocking out, rocking in. Our great position to work with the deep 6 hip rotators, right? We can do that on the lower leg even, rock in, rock out. Or you can use your butterfly palms. So either lotus palms with the heels of the hands together or butterfly palms with the thumbs of the hands together. So you get to choose and play with and decide what feels best in my body. So coming back to that concept of metta, of loving kindness. Does everything I do feel good to give? Does everything I do feel good to receive? So if my client had low back or hip pain, this would be a great position to leave them in and get the compress so that you can work all around that hip. So there's a couple different ways. There's a few different ways that you can work with the compress. If it's really hot, you probably want to move a little more quickly. So you'll do more of a stamping technique. So you'll kind of quickly move across and through and around that hip, around that greater trochanter, a few repetitions. Thais like to work with the number 3. So I'll work with that 3 tracing around that greater trochanter. Working up through the hips and the low back, especially if my client had low back pain, I find that working with the compress, Thai herbal compress, is really nice for anybody who has chronic tension, chronic pain. So think about the shoulders, the traps, anywhere along the erectors, low back, sacrum, hips, right? I don't know is there any place that doesn't experience chronic pain sometimes or intermittent pain and tension? So it's if you have it really hot and the body's, it's too hot to leave on the body for a long sustained period of time. You can also, once it begins to cool, is kind of give a roll press. So you slow it down some. I'm going to work along the energy lines going up and then coming back down. So press and roll. Press and roll. So let the herbs get absorbed into the body, let the body feel the heat as a way to relax and soften, restore and heal using the Thai compress. And the smell is wonderful. Yeah, so after that, another approach is to work around, to kind of spin around it. So as the compress begins to cool, I'll drop the hand towel and I'll begin to circle and press. And you can even hold for a sustained period of time. Let the heat, sink in. Circle and press. Circle and press and hold. So a couple different approaches there, 3 different approaches. Working with the Thai herbal compress, going quick if it's very hot. As it begins to cool, you can slow it down and stamp, or you can do a circle stamp as it begins to even get cooler. You can go directly over the bone, right on top of that sacrum. Sometimes feels really, really nice. What's also great about the herbal compress is I usually only 1 use per client. So I'll have the herbal compress and use it all across their body and then give it to them afterwards. So they get to have it as a take home reminder of their session, a little souvenir that they can later soak in a tub and take another soak later that day or later that week when they want to remember the feeling or sensation that they received during their session. So cool. Anything else for me to add to that? Oh, let me add a couple more stretches here just for the fun of it, because I think we have a minute or two. So coming from tree pose, we can also support underneath the foot, support underneath the knee, and scoop or slide that knee all the way to the same side, shoulder, same type as hip. I'm going to repeat that on the other side so that you can kind of see it a little better. Reverse tree. We'll bring it out to the side so that you can see it there. I'm going to change the angle because I'm going to move a little closer to the front here. And then support the knee, support the bottom of the foot. And I'm just going to sweep. I'm going to sweep the leg, Johnny, so that that knee comes all the way up towards the hip. I use my outer hip to keep it in place or hold with a hand. I'm going to just move your arm here for a moment so that I can use my rolling pin and press and roll. Great way to access those deep hip rotators. You can always leave the body like this and add that herbal compress and work the Sen energy lines with the herbal compress. So it's a nice way to start to add movement and heat and herbs and a whole nother experience with Thai massage, taking it to the next level. We feel like bringing that down. Let's do one more stretch. I think we got time. Oh wait, it's 4:29. I got 1 more minute, so I'm gonna do one more stretch for you.
Yay!
All right. This is one of our favorites. Is a nice big psoas stretch. So I'm going to bring the knee out to the side, tuck the foot behind the opposite. Oh, let me go the other way. He's got the wrong leg on. Knee out, toe lock behind the opposite knee. I'm going to bring my knee up into the lower back of my client. Ooh, table's a little high for me. Support the bottom of the foot. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, I'm going to lean back and lift that foot up into a light stretch and release. So I'm going progressively, rocking in and rocking out. There's that rhythm, working with the breath. Medium, and I want to make sure I'm being kind to myself. I drop my shoulders, open my heart as I get. Release one more time. Let's find my partner's deep. Partner, let me know when I hit your deep. Give me a thumbs up right there. So I'll add an extra little breath here, big breath. And then let it go. Release that leg down, unwind the legs, and of course, repeat that on the opposite side. But I wanted to show you one good fun stretch for the psoas. You got some nice openings for the hip, and hopefully a little intro, a really quick intro to both the Thai stick and the Thai herbal compress.
And some fun table tie stretches.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, let's see here. So as we're coming on in for a little Q&A, we want to hear from you. So in a moment, feel free to unmute.
We got 30 minutes. Woo!
Yeah, that just jumps in. But Donna, anything you wanted to get into before we shared some of answers and also offerings of other opportunities to connect with us?
I just had a question. This is Kim Brantley. The Thai herbal ball compress, can you purchase that already made, or is that something we have to make ourselves?
No, I purchased that already made. And actually, you can get them on Amazon now and get them to you really, really quickly.
Oh, great. Great.
Yeah, we used to always have to go to Thailand, buy a bunch of them, and then bring them home and then order them again and wait 3-4 months before we get a new shipment. So now Amazon is everywhere.
Okay.
And reaching destinations, and you can get really great quality Thai herbal compresses online.
Okay, great.
Yes, yes, yes. And look for different combinations of herbs. Some of them are meant to help you relax. Some of them are meant to help you sleep. Some of them help for muscle aches and soreness. So kind of start to shop around for what's actually inside that compress.
I was blessed with taking a traditional Thai class, and they had a seminar that taught Thai herbal ball, but I was sick and couldn't go. And we have a holistic clinical herbalist that taught the herbal part of it, and I've had her class before. So, but making it yourself is a pain in the neck. So I'm glad it's already made.
Yes.
Takes a lot of time, and a lot of the herbs are not actually available in the States. So when we can plan ahead, we get some shipments from Thailand. We don't have a particular brand. I saw Sherry's question, and I also saw a question from Tamara. Is this typically done with the clothes on or off? In traditional ways, a lot of times in Thailand, they'll give you
they'll put you wear
scrubs,
like
like
you wear like
surgical.
your Thai clothes. They actually wear like Thai pants or Thai t-shirt or something like that, but you usually
Something that
there
opens up in the back.
because sometimes there's turmeric in the mix, and it could stain your clothes or stain your sheets. So you don't necessarily want that on your own
On your
sheets
street clothes.
or on your clients. So it depends on that's why I say look what's inside that herbal compress, so that you, when you use it, you know if you need to use particular sheets or washcloths or clothing when you're working. But typically you change into different clothes, but I oftentimes will integrate it into a standalone massage session so that I'm working directly with my sheets on the body. And I do my best to try to wait to that herbal ball, that herbal compress is cool enough so that I can apply directly to the skin.
And I also saw Brooke's question. I just wanted to answer it since we're here. She's asking if we do have a Thai foot reflexology. Let's find the slide. We do have a home study course you're welcome to take, and you will get these slides with a clickable link. You could always go to livingmeta.com and get the 5 CEs home study course, and that shows you how to do all these different techniques with working at the stick, saving your hands, basically replacing your thumbs with the tool. For those of you who have this Thursday off or would like to watch the replay, we do have a live Thai foot reflexology with the wooden stick webinar this Thursday. That's in 2 days. So that's a live 4-hour class, or if you can't attend live, we can send you the replay if you sign up. And also included in that 4-hour webinar, excuse me, is the 5-hour home study. And if you use the coupon code JAN11 promo, all caps, you can get it with the early registration price instead of the regular registration price of $120. So those are a couple options, and you're welcome, Brooke.
I wanted to jump in, and I just am not sure that we answered all the questions. There's one, Tamara, can you soak the compress, then put in moist towel warmer to keep hot? I mean, my questions would be, how are you keeping them hot? How are you heating them to begin with?
Perfect.
And if it's not with a towel warmer.
Yes, I've chosen to go the route of a steamer. I find that it maintains the heat for the herbal ball a lot longer.
Yeah, so you soak the hot cabbies are okay, but if you really want that sustained heat and you don't want to have to keep switching them every like 2 or 3 minutes, you probably want something more robust than your hot towel cabbie. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah, no problem. So I've chosen to use the steamer instead of the hot towel cabbie. I have both in in our space here. You soak the ball first, get it all nice and wet, and then you keep it steaming in the steamer until you're ready to use it.
15 minutes will get it nice and hot.
Yeah, 8 to 15 minutes will get you a good start.
Depending on how many compresses you have and how hot you want it to go.
And then optional, you could keep them in a towel warmer if you wanted to go back to the client. Yeah. Okay.
Soak that ball really good first, and you can always microwave it. I haven't done that yet, but I've had friends who've microwaved their herbal compress ball as a way to quickly, heat it up and get it, utilize it in a session. So microwave is also an option.
All right.
Soak that ball first.
Another question, can you use them as a placement on the body?
For sure. Yes. Thanks for that question too. So if there's a particular area like the traps or the shoulders where the body is just, your client is just holding tension, you can always just place the ball, or sometimes let it sit underneath the neck, or rest in the low back, or maybe there's some knee tension, knee pain. I like to put the herbal compress right directly underneath the knees.
Or in prone, put one in each palm, or there's a myriad of ways you can use this. But they tend to lose their heat quicker than if you use stones.
Yes.
So if you're familiar with the timing for working with heated stones, it's a little shorter window that the herbal compress will sustain and support the heat.
We don't have an herbal compress class coming up yet, but after doing this, I'm like, why aren't we?
Yeah, we need to get these back on the books, Nicole.
Yeah, this is the perfect time of year to start introducing some more heat into your sessions. I know my clients are appreciating it, and the smell is just so.
可不是开车的时候才能进，它还隐藏着4大秘密，至少有3亿人不知道，尤其是第1条和最后1条，建议先收藏。
Someone has their sound on. Okay.
All right, we got that resolved.
Interesting.
Good question, John Renee. So we recommend about 2.
At least 2.
At least 2, because a lot of the stuff you can do at the same time with 2 herbal compresses, like when you're going down the back or working a larger muscle group like the thighs.
But having 3 is really nice, so that you can, once you get the 2 done, you can bring out the next one, so that you can work simultaneously or individually with each one. And they also come in different sizes, so you can get ones just for working around the face, or smaller areas around the neck, or small joints, or you can get big ones. Even I think there's even one size larger than the one we have here, that covers more area. So you can play with sizes as well.
And highly recommended to go to a proper training, especially for safety when you're dealing with heat. And just like as one aside, always test on yourself.
Thank you.
And your own skin, like you would a baby bottle, before you put it on the client, just to be sure.
Thank you for saying that.
The best herbs, Jim, are the ones that are they're more chopped up. They're not ground, but they're chopped up. We find that works a little better. Sometimes there's pulverized versions, but we like when there's still some twigs, and you can kind of actually feel the leaves or the roots or the
leaves and the roots are in there.
And I don't know if it's fresher or what, but the traditional version, they're more chopped up than just pulverized into a dust
and it
cloud.
depends. Some of them are dry, are pulverized, and some of them are kept whole. So it just really depends on what herbs you want in there. The scent lasts a long time.
Well, yeah. So in your therapy room, or if you get it on your sheets.
If I do one steam if I'm only seeing one client with a Thai herbal compress, I smell that the whole day.
Which is marvelous.
For us,
if you
we're
like the scent, it's very calming, relaxing, and it's intentionally a lot of medicinal, anti-inflammatory, but also de-stressing
and opening the lungs and opening
respiration.
Yes.
If you don't have a steamer or a towel caddy, and you order the balls off, let's say Amazon, would you just set up like a cooking pot with a steamer in it? I mean, is there?
Oh yeah, that's usually traditionally in Thailand. That's oftentimes what you'll see is a big pot of boiling water in the middle of the room with a little steam catcher. And they just keep them going in the center of the room, and they just reuse them over and over and over again. You can microwave as another option, and I was gonna say something else, but it totally spaced my mind. So hopefully it'll
Those
come
are
back.
2 good options.
Does the microwave give it a moist heat feel?
Yes, it still does. But you want to make sure you soak that Thai herbal compress
For a couple
good
minutes.
5 minutes or so.
Okay, before putting it in.
When you heat it.
All right. And with the stretches, is it easy to gauge your client's ability to stretch?
This is a wonderful question. Sorry, I cut you off. Did you have a second?
No, go ahead, because you know where I was going with it.
Well, and it's fantastic, because I think all of us as body workers, there was a transition between Swedish massage, where we're doing like petrissage and circular friction and effleurage, and it's hands, wrist, fingers. And with practice, most of us begin to replace our palms with our soft fists and our forearms. We replace our thumbs with our knuckles and our elbows. But for many of us took a while to transfer the sensitive attention of the dermal papillae, right, under our fingertips, and to transfer that sensitivity into a soft fist or into a forearm. We were changing the locus of attention from our hands into another area of our body. What's unique about facilitated stretching, Thai yoga massage, is that you're actually extending the loci of focus out of your body and in, oh, sorry, are you okay? I think I went out of my body, but we're going out of our body. For those of us who are sensitive enough, unlike myself,
just don't elbow your partner.
Don't elbow, but then we can extend our awareness out of our body into their body and get a sense, okay, here's Nicole's light, here's her medium. And what is the, the biofeedback from the fascia? What is the communication for the deep? So that comes with time, but it's a wonderful question because it is almost like upgrading your sensitive awareness from your body and your tools outside of you to get a sense of, oh, is this a safe stretch? And Nicole's like, don't demo on me anymore. You elbowed me in the head.
Well, I just put out a call to see if there were any last questions. And in wrapping up, I'm not sure, we didn't put your website on where your name is. Would you like to mention your website again?
Yes. So
sure. Thank you.
I appreciate that. So we're livingmeta.com.
And during this pandemic 2-year period, we have created a self-care touch therapy community. So we come together and you can visit our website and get a free trial for the month and see what we're up to. We have hundreds of hours of self-care for your low back, for your shoulder. Big part of our personal practice of living a massage therapy lifestyle is incorporating a strong self-care practice, a strong self-care component. So we want to share as many feel-good techniques, not only for your clients, for you to share with your clients, but to share it with yourself. So come check us out, see what it's like on our Living Meta family, and see if it's something that you're interested in. You can come here and just kind of mosey around and just take the classes on your own, or if you need CEs, you can join the Meta Community Pro.
And those hundreds of hours of body work and self-care videos are available on this middle tier if you would like to connect with us. And we also have live meetups every month with different things to help be and embody loving kindness, how to have a lifestyle of self-care. We like to say that self-care is healthcare. And the last thing I want to share is if you want more about Thai massage, table Thai yoga massage, you can also visit our website and, let me go back a couple slides, and take our course as well. So there's a 10-hour CE home study table Thai yoga massage you can take at your own pace. So all of that's available at livingmeta.com.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for attending. Just a few things and wrapping up. Tomorrow, there will be a follow-up email with a copy of the recording. And included in that will be the PowerPoint presentation that Heath and Nicole ran us through tonight and their mascot. And looking ahead, we have a fabulous year of EduTalks coming up. And on January 25th, we have Kathleen Leeson, who will present post-operative massage following plastic surgery. In February 8th, we have Kelly Lene, Flourishing Personally and Professionally. And February 22nd, we have Laura Allen Clayton, Business and Marketing Strategies in a Post-COVID World. And we keep thinking we'll be post-COVID, but it will be interesting to hear that talk and the strategies to look ahead to and guide you in your practice. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending. Again, watch your email address. Over 1 year of EduTalks are on the biotone.com website under the blogs and EduTalks tab. We appreciate everything you do for the massage profession. And thank you again, Heath and Nicole. Oh, lastly, I almost forgot. End of March, Heath and Nicole will be presenting another EduTalk, and that is Embrace a Self-Care Lifestyle, Breath, Movement, and Touch to Optimize a Life Well Lived. So again, join us throughout the year for these great talks. Heath and Nicole, their contact information will also be in the follow-up email tomorrow. Thank you so much, everyone. Look forward to seeing you again. Take care. Happy 2022.
Yeah.
Yay. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Everyone.